All right, UH Nation, I'm Reid Nelson. This is Izzy We're going to do the Fridley predictions for tonight's Fridley games. We will start out with Upstart 7, the young kids from St. Anthony, taking on John Price's Huskies. Who do you have in this game and why?
I'm kind of actually looking forward to not actually having to do stats so I can watch this game. 7 I don't know enough about. I do know Elijah Sabah, who's a big body. He can kind of shoot outside. He kind of lives out there. He doesn't really like pounding it down low. But they do have some size, which is nice. The Huskies kind of surprised me the past 2 weeks because they've played the Bulls and the Turtles very close, and they almost beat the Turtles without Fredrickson. It would pain me to pick against the Huskies because they've done so well, and they haven't had a win yet. And I don't know enough about 7 to really give them enough credit because their opposition that they played haven't been strong enough. So I'm going to go with the Huskies in this game just based on what I know of them, and I'm going to say Huskies by 4.
Okay, 0-2 who better? 0-2 stickball. What do you got in this game and why?
Well, stickball just lost by 58 points, I think.
To the Bulls.
To the Bulls. Regardless, I mean, teams don't even put up 58 points, and they lost by that much. I think that who better have the potential to be good. They have a lot of athletes. They're young. They just make mental mistakes, and they sometimes get a little selfish. But if they can move the ball around, I do like the players that they have, and they don't really have a liability. So stickball, I know Keon Austin, I know David Falla, but I'm not really comfortable with the other guys. I think that if who better get out and run and turn this into a little bit more fast-paced game, don't allow David Falla and Keon Austin to get low and get rebounds, I think that who better win, and I think they win by double digits. I'll say 12.
0-2 them versus 1-1 the club. Their 9-man roster. Adam Wright says that he's got it all figured out. Rotations in, he's got them set. It's like a hockey team. What do you got in this game and why?
Well, I want to know what do you mean he's got them set? Because I want to know if he convinced somebody to quit after 1 week and then charge them $80 for it.
I don't know about that.
But them is actually good. They're 0-2, but once again, it goes to matchups. Who have they played? You look at the club, they start out really well. They beat the North Stars. And then against Callahan, I did the stats for that game, and they just looked in a complete mess. All right, they got a couple really good players. I like the additions that they have with Hunter and Jordan, but the rotation's all messed up. And I don't trust Adam Kidd enough right now to basically say, yeah, okay, you're 9 guys, you're going to make it work.
Sorry, Adam.
Sorry, Adam. And I like them's potential. The one thing that worries me is I don't know. Rumor has it that they added Joe Steffler. That's going to help a lot because Ned Teach is just a freaking animal. If Joe is there, I think them win. If Joe is not there, I don't think they do. But my source is pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to assume that them have Joe Steffler, and I think that they're going to do a better job of working inside out. And I think them win, and I think they win a close one by 3.
Okay, Callahan Auto Parts 1-1. Take on Woodbury, Paris Kearns Woodbury. Who do you have in this game and why?
Probably not a very good game, okay, but it's going to be a very close game, I think. I watched Woodbury I watched both games actually, both teams this past week. Callahan isn't as bad as they were against the Killer Bees. I don't know how they lost by that many points. I honestly have no idea. Drew Martin can score. Chase is a beast. They have their guard. I forget his name, but he brings the ball up for me. He's their point guard. He's a little bit bigger, but he's a very good all-around player. When you look at Woodbury, all right, you have Michael Franklin, who's a freak athlete. I mean, I think he missed like 22 layups last week. I think he was like 10 for 30, but it was all missed layups that he created for himself. I think they looked better than the 25-point lots that they had against the North Stars, and I think that they're overall a better team. Paris dictates the tempo a little bit better than what Callahan has, and I think Michael Franklin is going to have another big game. So I think that Woodbury's going to win by 7.
1-1 Killer Bees versus 0-2 Kool-Aid Kids. Who do you got in this game and why?
This is the classic little man matchup because neither I don't think has anybody bigger than maybe a small forward, a power forward if they're lucky. I'm intrigued by Petya. I haven't really watched him extensively, but I think he's probably going to be the best player on the court. Like I said, I haven't watched him, so I can't actually tell you if he is the best, but based on the numbers, I think he likely will be. You look at the Kool-Aid kids, they make up a lot of what the free agents were last year, and I like a lot of their players. It's just that they're missing size, and they get swallowed up on the boards. Now, you look at Killer Bees, their performance against the Auto Parts was pretty impressive because they didn't have a big man, and Chase didn't just destroy him. Well, he did have 20 points, but they should have lost that game, and they won by 26 despite that. So I think that the Killer Bees are a little bit better, a little bit more seasoned, and I think that they come up with the victory over the Kool-Aid Kids, I'm going to say by 3.
Game of the night, Bulls versus the Fob 5. Could be the 2 best teams in Fridley. You know, you throw the Turtles in there, but I mean, this is going to be a great matchup. Who do you have and why?
Well, it would have been a great matchup, but Burn not being in attendance is gonna hurt the Fob 5. You know, Fob 5, we live and die by having everybody there. Dustin needs to be there. Burn needs to be there. All our guys need to be there because we're more of a unit than we are individual players. You look at the Bulls; that team is stacked. They bring guys. There are 3 guys off the bench are great players. I mean, you got Lamont Peoples, Rakeem McKinley, and J. Michael, if he's not starting, coming off the bench with Marcus, Wiskus, Helmy, and Skaya. That's just a really good all-around team. I think the fact that Burns not there, you're left with Skaya and Helmy against Thompson and Smolarek. Now, they're undersized, and if Smo is likely going to guard Helmy, and Thompson's likely to guard Skaya. Now, if Smo can do a good job on Helmy, the Fob 5 have a chance. The issue is, even if we do a good job on those 2, you got Marcus and Wiskus still to worry about. I just think that with the 8 guys against the 6 for Fob 5, I just see that the Bulls being too dynamic and being able to bring guys off the bench and wear Fob 5 down. So I think that the Bulls will win the game, and I think they win by 7.
Are the Bulls a championship level team?
Absolutely. I said in my podcast, if you didn't hear, I think they're a top 4 team alongside the Turtles, Fob 5, and Gorillas. And so I definitely think they can win it. Absolutely.
Okay, 1-1 Pigeons, 1-1 North Stars, 9:30 games. Go.
Well, Reed Nelson's the best player in Ultimate Hoops, so it's kind of hard to pick against him.
That is very true.
But in the end of the day, the Pigeons barely beat the Kool-Aid Kids. They look good against Noisy, but I don't know what happened against Kool-Aid Kids. I have no idea. I wasn't able to watch the game, but it doesn't really matter. You shouldn't only win by 4, and that's probably your fault because of your
skill level.
Strategy. Well, not your skill level. Your skill is there. It's a strategy. But you look at the North Stars, with Chris Maher, you're probably going to have to put Brandon Tasso on him. It's going to take Brandon Tasso out of the game offensively because he's going to expend so much energy guarding Chris. With that happening, you got Noe Mendez, and I think you guys can do a decent job on Noe. I think Ben Yelke's a very underrated defender. But overall, I think the North Stars just have too many weapons because they can throw Ro Nelson out there, and then Will Chalfant is going to protect the rim. So any Pigeons around the basket are going to have a tough time.
He's going to shoot them down, is that what you're saying?
He's going to shoot out some Pigeons right from the nest. So I think that the North Stars just have too much. I think the Pigeons can stick around because the North Stars are susceptible, but I think the North Stars end up pulling away in the second half by about 14.
Game I'm looking forward to most tomorrow night, and I won't be able to watch it because I'll be playing. Noisy withdrawal. Turtles. Is this going to be the Turtles' first regular season loss in who knows how long?
Well, they lost last season.
In the regular season.
They lost to the Fob 5. But there's no Jansen, so
I don't remember that game.
Yeah, but there's no Jansen, so it doesn't count. So that's how I look at it. So, Noisy Turtles. You look at Noisy, they have enough players to be able to compete with the Turtles. It's just that they don't close very well against good teams. They struggle to close very well against good teams. You saw them in the Cush Club game last season. They were up most of the way. The game got tight, and then they missed a simple box out, and Kavarian Williams, I think, was the one that tipped it in for the win. Okay? So you look at the Turtles, they let teams in, but they find a way to finish. And Noisy might be there. They might be up just like the Huskies were, but I don't think that they can close the deal. I think Mead's going to have a good game. I think he's going to go up against – I don't think Bryant's playing. So you got Mead going up against Ryan Samuelson. However, Ryan Samuelson might still be in Vegas because he's not here tonight. So if Kyle Mead is going up against Monska, I like the matchup there. and I like the fact that Hamill and Springer are two big bodies down low against Pinkett and J-Sam, and Greg if he comes off the bench. I really like the game. I just think that the Turtles are they're just better around the edges. Let's put it that way. I think they have more dynamic players coming off the bench, and they don't lose anything from their starters to their bench players, but I think Noisy does. So I think the Turtles do win a close game, and I think they win by 4.
All right, thank you, sir. And thank you all to Noops Nation. See you next week.